Shit. What up, niggas? Uh, Back for a motherfucking video. I was supposed to do one a little second ago, but I be having to tell people I got a job and shit. I be having shit going on. So drop the fucking new I had to drop a new mixtape. So everybody, I'm gonna post the link here in the video below. Out of Death Dealers, Ass Kicking Music, Volume 3, God from the Bricks. Is a 3-volume series. So volume 3, it'll be on all streaming platforms in another 5 days or so, and on Bandcamp as well as SoundCloud on June 19th. So June 19th, you'll be able to cop that officially. Um, yeah, so I've been trying to get that together. Still got to do some commissions for Inevitable Entertainment. Salute to that drop. Legends of the New World from Inevitable Entertainment, written by Vern Watkins. So check it out. Yeah, we working, man. We working. You find me? We've been working. So I apologize. I didn't get to get on the live and get to talk my shit, but wanted to talk my shit about Asian hate. In particular, there was a shooting of a young black boy, like Asian man. Multiple instances of a particular type of violence that's been going on between um, adult Asian males and females and young black kids. In LA, that actually started the riot. It was the Asian Asian store owner that shot and killed a black girl. That's why they started targeting Korean stores. Um, and we have to understand that we support anti-bigotry globally. I feel unitedly as people. I think that's something that we have to stand by as a community, as a country, and that's something that we have to adamantly stand for across all colors. I do feel, however, it's disingenuous for certain individuals of the Asian community to pester the maltreatment of black people and their people as if it's like a one-way street. And me personally, I will never make any excuse for any bigotry on behalf of my brothers and sisters just because of the experiences that we have with a lot of other races. But I don't allow other races in the same token to get you carried away and trying to clown how we make fun of other races. When the Asian community has a particularly nasty history with black people, and I feel moving forward when we discuss certain topics of race amongst communities that have equally not liked each other. Let's just call it what it is. There's an anti-black sentiment, and particularly in China, because China Mac advocates for Asian people a lot. And you're supposed to. It's like you're supposed to advocate for your own, but do you also call your own out for the anti-black sentiment that Chinese people have towards African people? Do you call them out for the suppression of control in their country? Do you call them out for traditionalist ways being stifling to the modern age of China that's trying to grow in the same time? And that's not my place to ask if you do that, but it's my place to ask that if your only real vocal criticisms come when it's involving black people's involvement with Asians. And there is a difference. And I fuck with China Mac. You know what I mean? I like that you stand for your people. I respect anybody stand for your people, white, black, whatever. If you stand for your own, that's not my issue. My issue is, are you standing for your own legitimately as an advocate for better relations and for better movement forward? Or are you just a mouthpiece for the frustrations and ignorance and bigotry of your community? And that is a very valid criticism. And that's going to keep a lot of people from coming to a common consensus because it's the wrong motherfuckers speaking up and throwing their hand up talking about stop Asian hate. And you need somebody who is coming from a genuine understanding of we're speaking in particular to the bigotry that has increased since the COVID-19 hysteria that Donald Trump initiated by calling it the Asian virus or the Chinese virus. That in itself is the same thing with Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter had a very specific goal, and it got turned into a larger mouthpiece for our community's plights and issues. And I feel with Asian hate, they may need to do the same to make sure that their argument for anyone that's critiquing what they're doing, first and foremost, that we are in particular attacking the in we attacking the growing increase of violence amongst Asians in America due to the hysteria and paranoia caused by the fear mongering of Donald Trump. And not saying that they have to explain that, but I'm saying that they have a particular goal. And so when we're going forward with our criticisms of Asian hate, we need to be very, mindful of the fact that we're not just criticizing the act in itself of not having bigotry towards Asian Americans. I feel, you shouldn't have hatred towards anybody. Towards anybody. You know what I mean? You shouldn't hate niggas, you shouldn't hate Asians, you shouldn't hate Latinos. Like, what do you hate people for? Is the bigger question. But race relations in themselves have to improve. And the bigger thing has to improve is our willingness to understand that we don't know everything. Our willingness to check ourselves. We call it counter culture. We say that the world's getting too sensitive. It's not that the world's getting too sensitive, it's that we're becoming aware of how other motherfuckers feel, which is what we were supposed to do a long time ago. This is how societies evolve when you're conscious of how everyone is affected by your decisions. That's how we evolve as a species. We evolve as the human race. Is we all can come together collectively based on our differences as well as our similarities, and we can come to find common consensus on certain issues so we can move forward. But if we can't do that due to the fact that we stay willingly ignorant to other people's plights, issues, and circumstances, we'll forever be lost. And I want to know, what is the Asian community's response to the young black boy that was shot by the Asian man that's on bail right now? That his community got behind him and bailed him out for shooting 6-year-old in the arm after trying to put his hands on the 6-year-old. Where's our criticism? When you saw niggas attacking Asian people coming down the street, oh man, China Mac was loud and critical. Asian man shoot a 6-year-old black kid, he quiet. I want to know, since you were so quick to speak on black people's violent interaction with Asians, will you also take accountability for when your community practices a very deep rooted anti black sentiment? I mean, in China, they were blaming Africans for the COVID-19 vaccine. Like they were like telling them they're not even welcome in their establishments. Like, there's concentration camps in China right now, bro. And I'm pretty sure it's not just other Chinese people. There's a section where Africans live in China, they're treated like animals. So I'm not telling you to go and chastise your people, put them on a burning cross. No, you would never ask anyone that has a level of honor and loyalty to the community to do that. But I will ask, if you are also going to be an advocate for your community, will you also acknowledge and take accountability for the prejudice that your community also perpetuates? And as a community that would like to stand by other people who go through oppression, we would like these communities to also acknowledge how they took part in equal oppression when that's presented in conversation. It shouldn't be skirted past, it shouldn't be ignored. Because then that lets me know that, are you a real advocate for real change, or are you just the mouthpiece for the ignorance and frustrations of your community? You can be either or. Not my place. But I have to ask that when we make allies with people who hang around with predominantly black people, but say they're advocates of other communities. Because then it's like, you're not around them niggas though. You know what I mean? It's like, you say that don't matter. You have friends of all creeds, and you very well can. I just feel when people take the stance to say that they're advocates of their community, and you don't really exist and hang amongst your community. You can be very proud of your community, of course, and be with other people because you can have an open mindedness to that. But it can't be this undying loyalty to your people selectively. And we can't be advocates and try to have relations and find common grounds of bigotry and race in the United States. And the communities that are having an argument can't even acknowledge how each of them can come better and have better relations with each other. You know, race relations in this country in itself has to improve. And the first thing is is that we have to have an understanding and we have to learn to understand. You can't be mad when you understand. You cannot be mad with comprehension. Once you comprehend what an issue is, anger only comes from confusion. Anger only comes when you don't understand, when you don't get something, when you don't understand what's being said to you. And a lot of our bigotry and a lot of our feelings for the other races is the fact that we don't get other cultures. We don't understand. We don't care to understand. So there's a fear because we don't understand. That's why they don't. That's why people fear niggas. Because a lot of people think our culture is so goddamn benign and so. Oh my gosh, black people are so cool. No, our culture is just different, bro. It's not nothing about being cool. It's just our culture. This is how no we grew up. But if you talk to an Asian person, there's probably aspects of their culture we think are fire. But to them, it's just their culture. Hell, you go to a goddamn dude from Ireland or somebody from Finland or someone from another Slavic Europe, a Slavic country in Eastern Europe. Their culture is different. Like I had Russian friends growing up. Their culture was different. They ate different foods. They joked a little different way. That doesn't is people's differences that we have to learn to embrace because they were raised differently. Some of these people were very good people. It's a different culture. You feel what I'm saying? And relations don't improve until we acknowledge people's differences and we just learn to you can't it's not about tolerance. You can't learn to tolerate people because why do you need to learn what is a tolerance? Like I build a tolerance up for shit that's not good for me. What do you need a tolerance for other people for? Other people should matter to you for one. And for two, it doesn't matter if someone's different from you because you're not special in itself. In this grand scheme of the cosmos, we're like this. See that little dot? You can see like a little bit of light with that dot. In the grand scheme of the universe. In the grand scheme of the universe, we don't matter. None of us individually. How? There's nine infinitum in terms of star systems, celestial bodies, planets, black holes, singularities, redshift, a whole bunch of weird shit, fucking space going on right now. Life forms that we could never possibly imagine. Who knows what's beyond these borders? And you mean to tell me that we still can't embrace the differences of a motherfucker that just has a slight different phenome type and pigment variant? Thousands of years talking about life on other worlds, and we can't even learn to embrace the life here? Race relations definitely need improvement. It's inevitable. We're going to deal with different people. Black militant all day, this, that, and third. But the reality of the situation is that it's not just black people on this planet. And while I will always put the safety and improvement of my community first and foremost, simply because that's the community I come from, I also acknowledge that in order for one community to thrive, you can't just look for the singular prosperity of one community and the desolation of everyone else's. Kind of crazy. So, in order for us all to be able to work together as one common people, I say people with fucking sense. We have to be able to acknowledge our faults and come together to work together. So I see people stand for Asian hate. Now you got a lot of Asians who will call out the racism in their community. So it's not really something that I have to state like it's special, really. It's more so of the motherfuckers who don't call out the racism in their community, but want to be the vocal. Well, every time they have the chance to like join in the ranks of like other niggas who like talk about oppression and they got something to talk about, now they got something to talk about. And it's like, bro, if you were really an advocate for your community, you'd have been vocal a long time ago. It wouldn't have took just this happening because like there's oppression that happened in the Asian community since the 1950s. But you being a real street guy, you wasn't really worried about that. But it wasn't until what I mean, you had a political campaign to run with and to stop Asian hate. I mean, Asian hate's not new, bro. You know, and I need I need everybody to be able to come to an understanding and be able to meet mutually when we talk about race. You know what I mean? But also, I feel like, respectfully, we can't tell somebody how to address their issues. So I can't really tell an Asian person how to address the bigotry in their community because in one respect we don't want white people telling us how to revolt against our community. You know what I mean? I will just say to all, you know, to anybody of Asian descent that has ever, met me in life, I judge everybody based on their character. You know what I mean? If you got no hate in your heart, and if you legitimately just you know you don't want to be oppressed because you're Asian, you have every right to stand there and be vocal and call out the bigotry and oppression you face. Anyone does. And if it's niggas who being racist towards you, if it's white people being racist towards you, you got every right to say something about that. You know what I mean? But that's just me.